Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Arunachala Ramanaya Namaskaram. When I was first asked to talk about the effect of the Advent Day celebration on self-inquiry, at first I thought any celebration is an outward activity, whereas self-inquiry is an inward turning of the mind. So what is the connection between the outward and the inward? Then I thought more about it. That is, Advent is the day that Bhagavan arrived in Tiruvannamalai. That is for Bhagavan a homecoming. That is, Arunachala is Bhagavan's natural abode. Bhagavan is Arunachala himself. So he is returning to himself. He's returning home. So I thought, yes, this is what self-inquiry, self-investigation is all about. It's about we are returning home, returning to our true self, to what we actually are. And that is Arunachala shining in our heart as I. So what we celebrate as Advent Day is we are celebrating outwardly what is actually an internal event. If we see the life of Bhagavan, Bhagavan physically came to Arunachala on the 1st of September. But that is an outward representation of what actually happened in Madurai in the middle of July. That day when that fear of death arose in his heart and his mind turned inwards to find out, who am I? Am I going to die with the death? When the body dies, do I die? When he investigated that within himself, when he investigated who am I, he thereby merged back in the heart. That is the true homecoming. Because Arunachala is ever in the heart as the heart. So the outward event of Bhagavan travelling from Madurai to Tiruvannamalai a month and 6 weeks later is an outward representation of what actually had already happened in Madurai. So the real homecoming is the turning inwards and merging back into the heart. Bhagavan has referred to this beautifully in the 3rd verse of Aksharamalai. Aham buhan dietun ahaguhe sireyai amavita dengol Arunachala. That means Arunachala entering aham. Aham is here Bhagavan is using aham there are two words aham. There's the Sanskrit word that means I, Sanskrit pronoun I. Aham is also a Tamil word that means home, heart, mind. It's got a range of meanings. It's what's inside. Aham buhanditu, aham buhundu is entering the mind, or it can also mean entering home, entering my home. Itu, carrying away. Un ahaguhe sireyai amavita dengol Arunachala. Keeping me a prisoner, keeping me captive in the cave of your heart is what? So, ahaguhe is the, as I say in Tamil, it means what is inside, the heart, the home. So, Arunachala's home is the heart. Taking Bhagavan from his outward home, that is the mind. That Arunachala entered Bhagavan's mind, pulled him back within. That is what Bhagavan is talking about here. And when he says enkol, it is what? That implies what a wonder is this? You enter my mind or my home. You forcibly carried me away. Dragging me from the outward-looking mind back into the heart. So this also has a within the, because Bhagavan is singing Akshramlai in the Matara Bhava, the bhava of a young girl praying to her beloved. So Arunachala, the Lord, entered Bhagavan's, the home of this young girl, this young 16-year-old girl, and abducted her and kept him a prisoner in his cave. So it's got meaning at many different levels. It's got the Matara meaning, which is of course allegorical. It's got the meaning, the physical meaning of entering my home, dragging me out and taking me to your home, and it's also got the spiritual meaning, entering my mind, carrying me away and keeping me a captive in the cave of your heart. So this is what happened that day in Madurai in the middle of July, in a spiritual sense, in a true sense. Later this was represented outwardly in Bhagavan's life by Arunachala attracting him, Bhagavan, putting the thought in Bhagavan's mind. When Bhagavan's brother said to him, when Bhagavan was not interested in his studies and just closed his eyes to sink within, and his brother said to him, what is the use of all these studies for you if you want to be a yogi? You should be something. I can't remember exactly what his brother said. But anyway, that put the idea in Bhagavan's mind, but he no longer belonged in that home, at that home in Madurai. That the place he truly belonged was his true home, which is Arunachala. So he undertook that journey and arrived in Tiruvannamalai on the 1st of September. This is also narrated by Bhagavan in the first two verses of Arunachala Ashtakam. That is, what Bhagavan says in the first verse is, Ari Vari Giri Ena Amadaram. It sits calmly as a hill, bereft of awareness. When he says bereft of awareness, he doesn't mean literally, but Arunachala is bereft of awareness, seemingly bereft of awareness. That Arunachala outwardly seems to be just a hill of rock. So it seems to be bereft of awareness, but of course it is not. It is Chaitanya Swarupa. It is the very, or as Jnana Sambandha described it, Jnana Tiralai Nindra Paraman. It's a huge mass of, it's the great Lord who abides as a huge mass of jnana, of pure awareness. Then he says, Amma Adisayam Idan Sayal Ari Varidakum. That implies, he doesn't say but is implied. He's contrasting. It seems to be outwardly, it seems to be a hill devoid of awareness, but its action is preeminent or wonderful. It's adisayam, difficult for anyone to understand. That we cannot, by the mind, we cannot understand Arunachala. Because to understand Arunachala, we need to turn within and merge within. That is the implication. Then he begins his own autobiographical note. Ari baru siru vayadu adu mudal Arunachalam mikaperidu ena arivinilanga. That means, though from my young age, when I was bereft of knowledge, Arunachala shone in my mind or in my awareness as something exceedingly great. Ari Hilan Adun Porul Adu Tiruvannamalai Ena Oruvaral Aribura Petrum. Even after coming to know from someone that it is Tiruvannamalai, I did not know its Porul. Porul means its substance, its reality, its meaning, the true significance of Arunachala. He didn't understand, even after coming to know that it is Tiruvannamalai, but he knew it is something very, very great. And then he says in the final sentence, Ari Vinay Marul Urudu Aruhinil Eka Aruhu Urum Amayam Idu Achalama Kandain. When it enchanted my awareness or my mind and drew me near, at the opportune time of coming near, I saw it to be Achalam. This sentence, like that verse, third verse of Aksharamai, we can understand it. That is, seemingly he's talking about an outward event. But Arunachala enchanted Bhagavan and drew him near, and brought, in other words, drew him near. We can take it to mean it brought him to Tiruvannamalai, and he at that auspicious time, that opportune time of reaching Arunachala, he saw it to be Achalam, a hill. That's the outward meaning, but it also has an inward meaning. When it enchanted my mind, that is when Arunachala rose. That is. Put that fear of death in Bhagavan and drew his mind within. That is what that is the deeper meaning. That Arunachala enchanted Bhagavan's mind and drew him near, drew him back into the heart. At the opportune time of coming near, I saw it to be Achalam. Achalam means not only a hill, it means what is motionless, our own motionless being. That's what Bhagavan is referring to here. So, though outwardly, Bhagavan is talking about, though seeing at a certain level, Bhagavan seems to be talking about an outward event in his life, he's actually talking about what happened inwardly. That Arunachala on that day in the middle of July rose in the heart of Bhagavan and drew him back into the heart. And then Bhagavan experienced him as Achalam. This deeper meaning is also confirmed by what Bhagavan says in the next verse, in which he says, here Bhagavan is describing the path of self-investigation. Kandavan evan ena karutinil nadak kandavan indrida nindradu kandain. When he doesn't say I. When investigating within the mind, who is the seer, I saw what remained when the seer became non-existent. That is, if we do as Bhagavan did on that day in the middle of July, when that fear of death came to him, if we turn our mind within to see who is the seer, who is experiencing all this, if we go within deep enough, we will see. Bhagavan doesn't say here he saw the seer become non-existent. He said, because the seer is ego. But ego exists only in the view of ego. So we can never see the disappearance of ego, because only that is the seer disappears. So what Bhagavan saw is not the disappearance of ego. What he saw is what remained when ego became non-existent. In other words, he saw what is real. So this is the path of self-investigation, turning the mind within. So he's describing in more detail what he described in the last line of the previous verse, which is by indirect implication, Bhagavan in the last line of the previous verse, he's talking about turning within. So here he's continuing the same idea. Turning within means we turn our attention back to ourselves to see, who am I, the one who is experiencing all this, the one who is seeing all this. And if we look at the seer keenly enough, the seer will cease to exist, and we will see what remains when the seer ceases to exist. That's our own reality, Atma-swarupa. And then he goes on to say, and this is very important, he says, the mind does not rise to say, I saw. That is, when we see the reality, we see it by, that is, as Bhagavan often said, seeing is being. As he says in verse 26 of Upadesh Undya, Tanai iritle tanne aridalam. Being oneself alone is knowing oneself, because what we actually are is pure awareness. And pure awareness we cannot see as an object. We can see pure awareness. What knows pure awareness is only pure awareness. Pure awareness can never be an object of knowledge. So we can see it only by being it. So in that state of being, there's no mind to rise and say, I saw. And then he goes on to say, so the mind does not rise to say, I saw. Then the next sentence he says, Kandilan Indrida Karuterumaren. So in what way can the mind rise to say, I did not see? That is, there's no rising I, no ego to say, or ego or mind to say, either I saw or I did not see. And then he goes on to say, Vindidu Vilakidu Viruluruvona Vindile Panduni Vilakida Endral. Who has the power to elucidate this by speaking, when in ancient times even you elucidated it without speaking? Here Bhagavan is alluding to Dakshinamurti, that is Arunachala Shiva in the form of a young 16-year-old boy under a banyan tree, who by his silence elucidated the truth to the Sanakadi rishis. So the truth ultimately can only be revealed in silence, without speaking, as he puts it here. And this we can understand this silent teaching of Arunachala only by turning within and merging back into the heart. Turning back within means turning within to investigate, who is this I who has risen to see all this, to experience all this? When we investigate this I will cease to exist, and then the real I, what I actually is, will remain shining. That alone is that's what he meant by, I saw what remained when the seer disappeared. And then he says, in the last sentence, he says, Vindidadu unnile vilakida endre, vintalam achala ma vilakida nindrai. Only to elucidate your state of only to elucidate your state without speaking, you stood as a hill, or stood motionlessly. Achalama can mean as a hill, or it can mean motionlessly, shining from earth to sky. So Arunachala shines in the form of this hill only to elucidate, without speaking, that his real state, which is the state of silent and motionless being, pure awareness, Satchit. That is elucidated by the silent presence of Arunachala. So, one other important thing in this connection: what is the key to turning within? Bhagavan makes it clear when he was asked about his real identity, he revealed who he truly is. Ariyati Tarajivara Dahavari Jaguhayil Arivairami Paramatman Arunachala Ramanam. Arunachala Ramana is the Paramatman existing blissfully as awareness in the cave of the heart lotus of different souls beginning with Hari. That is, from the highest God down to the smallest insect, in the heart of all, Arunachala Ramana is what is shining as the awareness I am. That is the implication. But then how to know this? In the next two lines, he gives the means by which we can know this for ourselves. The third line of this verse begins with very important words. Parival ulum uruha. That means heart melting with love. So love is the key. So he says, Parival ulum uruha. Nal paranandidu goheyandu. Arivam viri tirava. Nijamarivai aduveliam. That is, heart melting with love, reaching the cave where that sublime supreme dwells, where Arunachala Ramana dwells, the eye that is awareness opening, you will know Nijam, you will know the truth, the reality, what actually exists. You'll know what is ever shining in the heart, what is Adu Veliam. It will reveal itself. It will expose itself. Is the implication. So the key here is the heart melting with love. If we want to follow Bhagavan's teachings, the key to following Bhagavan's teachings is with success is parivu. Parivu means love. That love to know and to be what we actually are. Without that love, we will not be willing to turn within and merge back into the heart. So love is the absolute key. So this is what this outward event of Bhagavan coming to Tiruvannamalai, this is what is represented, is the love with which Bhagavan turned within and merged back into the heart on that day in the middle of July, 6 weeks earlier. So this is what Bhagavan's Advent celebration should remind us, and it should rekindle that love to turn within and to merge back into the heart, so that Bhagavan's Advent becomes our Advent, our arrival back home in the heart where he ever dwells as awareness. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Arunachala Ramanaya.
Namaskaram, Sri Michael James.
Yes.
Yes, we can see you.
Yeah, okay.
And on behalf of our satsang at Saket,
yeah.
We are so very pleased to have heard your pearls of wisdom and pearls of truth through your pravachanam.
This is not my pearls of wisdom. This is Bhagavan's pearls of wisdom. I just pointed out what Bhagavan has taught us. It all comes only from Bhagavan. Who are we? We are nothing.
Yes, of course. And I remember Bhagavan also says that to even call oneself an instrument towards leading is acknowledging the ego in us.
Yes.
I think it's a quest for life, sir. And the journey just begins and it never ends. It's a journey for life.
Yes.
And thank you so much for been with us and helping us gravitate towards Bhagavan's teachings more and more in this Janma on this earth. Thank you so very much.
Oh, thanks to Bhagavan only. Namo Ramanaya.